Namaste. Here I am again, and I'd like to speak today about the human mind, whether it is the divine or the devil, whether it's stupid or wise. Of course, most of you may not agree. How can the mind be stupid? After millions of years of evolution, from Homo genus to Homo sapiens, we are supposed to be the wise creatures of this earth. Yes, undoubtedly, we are supposed to be. But are we the wise creatures? Sorry. Yes, 1% of the population, maybe. 98 or 99% of the population is reeling under misery, mess to misery, chaos, anxiety, depression, fear, insecurity, running amok for pleasure, profit, prestige, power, only concerned about the personal self, killing each other, destroying the world ecologically, environmentally, mentally, in every way, destroying this world, eventually creating our own self to become extinct in this world, gradually. Yeah, technology may have advanced to give us all the digital comfort. Things are created for us to save more and more time technologically. Every single machine is doing that. And still we are short of time. How sad. So, thousands of years back, Hindu sages declared that the human mind is the Tattvamasi, thou art that. Shivoham, Aham Brahmasmi. You are that spiritual conscious energy going through a human experience. You are the creator as well as the creation. It is because of you that the universe exists. It's because of you, meaning your mind. Everything unfolds. Everything, whether God or any other conceptualization. So, according to them, the divine is residing within us. But they also declared that the human mind is asleep while awake. It is ignorant of its own self, its own actual self. Because there are many selves in us. The physical self, the mental self and the divine self. So there are three selves. So it's the actual self, of course, is the divine self, which we are ignorant about and we are asleep. What a bold statement, both of them. But the divine is within you. You are the divine and that you're asleep. So gradually, the neuroscientists have now discovered that over 98% of the mind is functioning unconsciously in auto mode, pilotless, without requiring any master. And randomly, recklessly, multitasking, chattering all the time, uncontrollable, creating chaos. The happiness and the pleasure which we seek, we are not getting. We're getting very, very fleeting moments of pleasure. There is no peace of mind, there is no tranquility, there is nothing, in spite of tons of techniques, practices, efforts, spiritualism, religion, mysticism, mythology, what not. None of them have been successful. No meditation, japa, mantra, tai chi, zen, vipassana has been able to benefit this world. Yes, for short moments of time, maybe. Transcendental meditation, you do it for 15-20 minutes, yes. You get a lot of therapeutic benefits. Your blood pressure goes down. Enzymes like telomerase are released, which are good for the longevity of your body and things like that. It calms your mind for a short while. But what happens after that? That ego starts roaring again. It bounces back with extra vigor. And you start showing off. You see, I've started meditation, I've started yoga these days. Trying to prove to the other that I'm better and I'm more superior than you are. So, when the whole world is imbalanced today, how can you say? How can you claim that you can declutter the mind? You can silence the monkey mind. You can't. Yes, for 5-10 minutes, okay. Possible. But even then, even for that 5 minutes, try, sit and go to the church or go to the temple and start praying. After a minute, your monkey mind starts jumping again from one branch to the other, thinking of everything but of the God that you are sitting in front of, supposed to be that God sitting in front of. Because that God is you, God, Guru and the Self are you. You are that divine, you are that creator, you are everything. It's just that you're ignorant about it. When the spirituals say that you are that spiritual conscious energy, it means that the mind is a mechanical operating system. It has a RAM, it's called memory, and from that memory, the mind, whatever it believes, belief has no verifiable evidence. So whatever it believes, it processes blindly, churns from past information, projects that into future. So the continuity is from the past to the future, bypassing the present, because the present mind cannot capture. It takes too much of time analyzing, evaluating, judging, calculating this and that to choose for its selfish desires, for its me and mine, and this and that, for its likes and dislikes. And it goes on. It misses the present. It is never in the present moment. So what happens? Your thoughts, which you think, is the ultimate, because it makes you a thinker. But thinking of what? Thoughts are always of the past, connected to the past, going into the future. So, you live in the past, dream about the future, and what happens? You become learning from others' knowledge, exhausted scriptures, listening to marketeers who are celebrities today, whether of spirituality or mythology or whatever. You believe them, you imitate them, you keep talking about them. So whatever your knowledge is not yours, it's of others. You are just a blind follower of this and that. Everything has been given to you by somebody else. Your total mindset, your name, your gender, you name it. Nothing is yours. How can you be called the divine when nothing is yours? Every single knowledge that you have in your mind, which has given you whatever degree you have, made you a scholar, an academic scholar, it's your memory. That's all. It comes out from your memory, functions subconsciously. Subconsciously, yes. The mind is divided into three sections: the subconscious, the conscious, and according to the Western world, the unconscious, and according to the Eastern world, the superconscious. So, the conscious mind, I told you, is what makes you perceive. It is the essence of perception. The moment you perceive, what happens? Meaning, or the moment you observe, what happens? So your mind, through observation, becomes aware. Moment it becomes aware, it extends into consciousness. It becomes consciousness. So the first is observation or watching. Second is awareness. Third is, if you are aware, and after that if you are attentive, then you become conscious. So when you become conscious, like if you're learning how to drive, swim or walk or whatever, you're alert, you're aware of what you're doing, and you're conscious. You're slow. Your thinking is slow, but you're aware, and after that you're conscious. So you learn. The moment you have learned, the mind says, I don't require you anymore. When I say the mind, I'm referring to the cognitive mind. I'm referring to the subconscious mind. Because according to science and according to the subject of spiritualism, science says, neuroscientists say over 98% it works subconsciously. And since the spiritualism says, subject of spiritualism says, it is asleep, meaning the conscious mind is not awake. And you're working subconsciously, in an unconscious manner, all by itself, randomly, recklessly, in entropy and disorder. And that is why there is so much of imbalance, and that is why there is so much of unhappiness. You are seeking pleasure and happiness, but as a result, ultimately what you get, you're unhappy, you're always dissatisfied. You're wanting more and more and more. There is no end, there is no contentment, there is no tranquility, there is no peace, there is no bliss, there is no joy. In fact, the situation is so bad that you are happy when you see others unhappy. It has come to such a sad situation. So, conscious mind is very limited right in the initial stage, and the subconscious mind is 98%, which is creating all the havoc, and why I've titled this video as the stupid mind, a pilotless mind without being monitored. Every machine requires some sort of monitoring. Why not the mind? You're supposed to use the mind, you're not supposed to get used by it. But that's what is happening. The mind is using us. We are the puppets of our mind. We are the servants of our mind on its desires and emotions. We react to it. We react out of emotional desires. And what is superconscious? It teaches you how to proact in spontaneity. Proact, meaning without the cognitive mind, thinking, evaluating, analyzing, into this and that, choosing, disturbing the essence of the object which is being undertaken by the mind. So the superconscious mind is where the soul resides. The soul is the divine within. It is pure and pristine. It only observes, it only watches, it only witnesses. And why the human mind is called the divine? Entirely because the human mind has the potentiality of witnessing its own mind, its own self, its own thoughts, which no other creature can do. It can witness its thoughts. Yes, that's all. It remains passive, it remains absolute, it's just a watcher. And the observer effect, as stated by science, observation influences the phenomena being observed, meaning your observable reality is dictated by the degree of your observation. So, it's the observer. The soul is that witnesser. It's the observer. It's that divine sitting within, which is though sleeping, but subtly keeps telling you, whenever you cross any limits, don't do it. But you don't listen because the subconscious in your mind has inflated too much. It's controlling you. So it does not like to listen to that divine sitting within because you're ignorant of it. You do not know what witnessing is all about. Just imagine you're witnessing or you're observing or you're looking or staring at somebody, and the other person, the moment the person comes to know that you're looking, becomes aware. That person becomes aware, becomes conscious. And there's a pause in whatever the person is doing. There's a pause. Same is the case. When you witness your own mind, it becomes shy and conscious. It becomes shy, then aware, then conscious. And once it becomes conscious, then what happens? You will not do something which is unfavorable to you. You will not want to do something which is wrong, which is immoral. Because you've been given the warning. Or say, even if you're angry, and if you're watching that anger of yours, it will simmer and subside. But subconsciously, you'll explode. So that's the difference between the conscious and the subconscious. And the conscious is guided and checked by the superconscious mind, which we are not aware of, which we do not listen to. As in when there's this subtle voice behind telling you, don't do it, meaning the master is telling the mind, the master is telling the thinking mind, the personal mind, the impersonal self is telling the personal self, don't do it. Because the soul is impersonal, it's impartial, it does not think. for it's me and mine. You see? So, all three, the superconscious, conscious, and the subconscious. Subconscious, of course, like I said, it's the tiger within, which is creating all the havoc. And stupidly, we are following that subconscious mind. Google and internet may not agree with me. Many of the celebrities, the masters of this world may not agree, but that's what, according to me, all our problems are because of the subconscious mind. Because we do not know how to monitor this pilotless machine, this pilotless software, not machine, software operating system. So, we'll continue this in the next session, and I'd like to tell you a little more about the human mind. Thank you.